We are a part of that. My experience with human individuals who suffer is that they suffer more when they move here. From Minnesota, from Florida, from Arizona, when they come here, they find out they have asthma. They never had before. When I read the textbooks, it tells me that infants do not develop allergies. They don't have the immune system for it. And then I'm stuck the first several years in Jasper trying to describe to the mother, why does my child have this runny nose all the time? And I come to find out he must have allergies. The textbook says he can't, but something's amiss. A few months ago I found out that it is not just pollen. We do have high pollen counts. They're measured in Evansville daily. We also have 8 of the top 40 parts per million counties within this Ohio River Valley, along the Ohio River in western and central Indiana. We rank about 39th. There's about 7 of them up there, like Rockport, so forth. And then it all became much clearer. It's not just allergies. We have poor air. I thought that happened in places like Chicago and LA, but my experience is that we already have poor air. To put this in perspective, I want to take you to this high school physics class. If you remember, the density of something relates to the distance you are from it cubed. You multiply the distance by itself and you multiply it again. If I'm 2 miles from something, I'm 1/8 the exposure as if I'm 1 mile from something. If I'm 3 miles away, it's 1/27. And this is why in modern times we put power plants in God-forbidden places like Rockport. Sorry if I offended anybody. There's just nobody around, and that's appropriate. That's how we can help manage that on a basic physics level, which in my mind now, as I turn to Jasper with poor air quality and people who suffer, my patients who suffer, and I can't help them because the medicines don't always work like we would hope that they would. Why are we going to put an emissions generator in a residential area? Along a river walk, along the path of the wet walk? Why are we putting emissions generation back into a residential area that does not seem to me state of the art? No matter how happy we want to be about being green, I don't think we're hitting the nail on the head. The last thing I'll say in the last few seconds is that I really had no idea what to expect tonight. Why was I coming? What would I learn? I'm shocked that the only voted official speaking is the lame duck. I'm dumbfounded. Even when a question was specifically raised to the 7 of you to comment on your thoughts and opinions of what you think the medical impact is upon the citizens, nobody talked.
Estella Kryline. Next up will be Amy Breedlove.
Estella Kryline, 1515 Dewey Street, Jasper. I can't understand how we can put this plant here because I've been in this polluted air all my married life here in Jasper. First it was the cold. It wasn't so bad. But now another thing, more particulate. And the thing I'm wondering about is this humidity we have in this area. It's going to come right down on us, and I'm not very far, just maybe 6 or 8 blocks from the plant. I now wear a mask outside when I go out. What am I going to do when all this comes down? And in this heat, and then how are we going to, the farmers going to crop this dianthus, because we hardly ever have a frozen ground around here for long enough. And the equipment they use is going to be so expensive and wear out so quickly, they'll be in the hole before you know it. I can't understand it. you don't hear anything we're saying. So many people have come forth with their ideas, and you wanted them, but I don't hear you listening. Not by what you're doing. Thank you.
Amy Breedlove. Next up will be Richard Whitaker.
Amy Breedlove, 421 West 8th Street. Since Dr. Sammons was not given a seat at the table, I'd like to yield my time to Dr. Sammons.
I'm sorry, we're not doing that. Yeah, he gets the one slide.
Okay, then I'll use a little bit more time to say that I think that a doctor that is able to speak on this matter to Congress is given 4 minutes of time to speak. Seems a little arrogant.
Richard Whitaker. Next up will be Barbara Habig.
My name is Richard Whitaker, W-H-I-T-A-K-E-R. I live at 283 Daisy Lane here in Jasper. My family and I came to Jasper almost 7 years ago. We lived in Grand Island, Nebraska before that. If you want to see a forgotten community, go to Grand Island. You want to see a community that cares, come to Jasper. The schools are great, the marching band is phenomenal, and the community is a real community in every sense of the word. I came here tonight with some concerns, but I don't know that my concerns are the same as other people's concerns. I have asthma. I didn't really have asthma before I came here, and I don't think it's because of some new power plant that's going to be put up that my asthma is going to continue. There are other problems in this place with the air quality that I think the doctor previously mentioned, and that's something we have to deal with as a community. There are other issues that we have to deal with too, that maybe get swept under the rug too. I mean, wow, we eradicated tobacco in all these places, but we still have an alcohol problem. Okay? It's sort of like there's an elephant in the room and nobody wants to really talk about it sometimes. And so when we have this big proposal come up for a new way to use an old plant, I think it brings everything out. It brings up a lot of people's anxieties that they already have about other issues, not just about the current proposal at hand. And maybe as a community we could do better at communicating, maybe do better at working together, maybe do better at sharing and taking opportunities to get input. I think that the input idea is a good one. It's a simple one. So why not do that? But I also came here thinking that my concerns would probably go up because I'd hear a lot of people that, gave me all the ideas that I was lacking and helped me to solidify what I thought about this issue. I don't know that I've heard that yet because I've only heard the plus side on that side and the negative side on this side of the microphone. And I don't know where all the plus people are, but they're not here tonight. We have maybe over 30,000 people in Du Bois County. Maybe I'm way off. I really don't know how many there are. But there can't be more than 400 people here tonight, maybe even 300. If it was put to a referendum, are you sure you know how it would go? Because there's only 350, 400 people here tonight out of 30,000. It's not even 1%. We don't know how it would go, but maybe it'd be good to hear that input. Maybe it would be very interesting to see what people would say. And maybe that'd be the start of more of those kinds of input things and kind of opening the community up a little bit. I think we need to decide if Jasper's going to be a forward-thinking, rowing community that listens to the citizens, that takes input, that trusts its county officials, its city officials, its elected people, that works together kind of back and forth with some good feedback. I mean, we've got the library issue too, and it doesn't seem like we can come together on that either. Our elected officials or our appointed officials are afraid to make a decision because people are so upset about what decision they'll make. Because there's not that give and take, there's not that coming together. Jasper's way better than that. I know it. We're here for the long haul. We're not going anywhere. Whatever you decide, board, I will support you in that. I'm going to learn more about this and maybe give my opinion more informatively at some point in the future. But I'm here for the long haul, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Father Hobbit? Mrs. Hobbit, Chris Lasher. Following Chris will be Kim Tolan.
Hello, Chris with a K, Lasher, Lasher. I have a small business at 505 and a half Main Street in Jasper, but I reside in Ferdinand. I was one of the 16 people that talked in October, concerned about the residential area close to the plant, concerned about the impact on tourism and health concerns. I don't really speak a lot publicly. It unnerves me, actually. And so for the last few months, I've been listening. I've been trying to read articles. I haven't spoken much. I've watched other professionals, parents, and even some students share concerns and documented facts, citing resources. I've heard our doctors make a stand and somewhat be ignored, and even in some cases ridiculed, and it disturbs me greatly. I'm concerned about our health. I have family here, I have friends here. I'm concerned not only about the people I know, but all of you have health. And I don't know whose health concerns are there. We have employees working at this plant. I would like to see them healthy as well. I brought with me the start of a petition for a clean air ordinance, and not a lot of work has gone into this. A couple of hours of canvassing and just being at some local businesses for people to sign. And there are 535 signatures on this without really any big discussion. These numbers really didn't take much effort, but with every effort that you seem to be making to market the biomass plant, it seems to have more concern within the community. I don't know what it'll take to potentially stop where things are heading. I don't understand how the dollar figures keep coming up, that they're more important than our health, that you can put a dollar figure on our heads somehow or on our families' heads. I don't understand it. I know we as Germans are thrifty, and I appreciate that, because I am as well, but not at the expense of family and friends. Less than 2 weeks ago, like hundreds of other Du Bois County residents, I paid my respects to a local businessman that was respected and beloved. And I noticed as I walked up to his casket, there was this wonderful creed prophecy on it, and it seemed to really fit where I feel like I am with this particular project. It states, when all the trees have been cut down, when all the animals have been hunted, when all the waters are polluted, when all the air is unsafe to breathe, only then will you discover that you cannot eat money. In the last 10 months, I've learned that really my opinions and my concerns mean very little. That valued doctors can be ignored. I know I have no impact on your decision. I fear that your decision has actually already been made and maybe not even capable of going backwards with it. I understand that this meeting is crossing T's and dotting I's, and legally it needs to happen, everything in a row so things can continue forward. I do have faith that you will still hope that you will still have some thoughts outside of the money figure on this. But I know that even though I have no impact, I felt like so I could sleep this evening, I at least need to make my presence and my thoughts known. So, thank you.
Kim Toland, and after Kim will be Gregory Kryline. And Gregory Kryline. Following Gregory, Bruce Lyles.
My name is Gregory Caroline, 1366 Altmeyer Road, Jasper. I just want to go back to my speech I made at the June City Council meeting. I just would like to know how this entire decision will affect my generation. Like, by the time this lease is up, some of these people here might not be here anymore. But I'll be 35 years old. And I know in the past couple of years I've been coughing, I've been sneezing, I've not been able to breathe very well. I mean, I don't have asthma, but it's still not been very well. And just, I don't really want to see my kids and my grandchildren that having COPD, asthma, like Dr. Hoffman said, allergies when they're born. I just don't want to have to deal with it. And also going back to the previous speech, money doesn't last forever. It just doesn't. I'd rather have health than living in a mansion. Thank you.
Bruce Lyles, following Bruce will be Michael Hicks.
Bruce Lyles, Liles, in Wycliffe, Indiana. I just heard somebody outside say, well, it sounds like a lot of people up here that are speaking have already made up their minds. And I think that's true. I think we've made up our minds to listen to the AMA, the Heart and Lung Association, the 22,000 doctors in the state of Massachusetts, and on like that. I think it's an easy call. I think anybody on one side there's like health and the environment, and on the other side there's money. And on one side there's money, yeah. And so I'm reminded of the Bob Dylan lyric where he says, "Money doesn't talk, it swears." And that's what's happening here. And I agree that we need electricity, or that people need electricity, but there are other ways. There's solar, there's water, there's wind. This biomass called alternative energy is just, it's wrong. When you vote, if you vote yes, this is, to paraphrase something from Arlo Guthrie, he said, this will be on your permanent record. You really don't want that. You don't want that. That's in the years to come, the money benefits will pale with what's happening to our environment. I mean, scientists are saying in all sorts of ways that we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. And the last thing I'll say is that I hope that citizens of Jasper file the petitions necessary to run for city council, run for mayor, and whatever, so that we get people that understand that just what has been echoed here, money isn't the only thing. Let's try and do some good instead of what's happening here.
Michael Hicks, and following Michael will be Bill Sammons.
Michael Hicks at 580 Riverside, Jasper. This ultimately, for me, comes down to a question of values, like a lot of people saying here. What do we value? I value health, environment, and all this. Now, I have a business background, a finance background. Money is an issue here. It's a big part of the issue. So what I'm proposing